Welcome to Scorched Earth and a general mid-month reading for the sign of Cancer, Sun, Moon and Descendant. It's a bit shorter than the readings for the month that are already out because it's just sort of like an energetic snapshot, right? It's where you are for right now and the last 2 weeks of June. So to that end, I'm only going to pull 3 cards for your current environment, how you find yourself energetically right now. 3 cards for what's coming towards you and 3 cards of advice. See if we can't ease the way for you just a little bit. I will attempt not to pull any clarifiers, but shit, I break my own rules all the time. So, don't hold me to that. What else do I have to tell you? Ooh, Mercury Retrograde is upon us. It's fine, don't be scared. It's nothing to be worried about. It's a reflective energy, right? And it's one that's designed to help you tie up loose ends. So as long as you kind of follow a certain set of, guidelines, you can navigate it without too much issue. First off, kind of avoid buying big ticket items, houses, cars, that sort of thing. But anything that sort of stretches you financially, just kind of give it a little bit longer. What else? Back up all of your technology stuff, because technology traditionally goes a little bit kaput at this time. And contracts, if you've got any contracts to sign, if you can put them off, do. If not, then double check, triple check. Get somebody to, that you trust to have a look over them, because Mercury is all about, it's about the details of things, right? So you miss something now, you pay for it later down the line, right? So just bear that in mind. And also communication gets really foggy at this time of year. People say things and other people misunderstand things, we take things the wrong way. Other people take things that we say the wrong way. Just be mindful of it, and kind of try not to take anything too personally at this point, because we're all subject to the energy. Don't assume anything. Don't assume somebody understands you. Don't assume that you understand someone else either, because the chances are that's where the fog is going to be, in between those two things. So that's quite enough rattling on from me. Let's get you some cards. I have 3 cards for Cancer, please, for the last 2 weeks of June. There's 1. Oh, there's 2. And 3. Nice. Oh, goodness. Cancer, I like this for you very much. Holy shit. At the bottom of the deck, we've got the King of Cups. Now, that is strictly Scorpio, but I feel like it's energy for you, right? This feels like you're really getting in tune with what you feel about everything in the world, right? Really achieving a certain sense of balance too, because we've got the 6 of Pentacles directly underneath that, right? You understand how you feel now about all sorts of things, and those can be people, those can be yourself, there can be your environment, take it as it resonates to you. But there's a certain amount of emotional mastery going on here, and that's really, really good. What we've got down here is the 5 of Cups in reverse. Love it. The Wheel of Fortune and Death. Holy shit, Cancer, what have you got going on? This is epic. So the first card, 5 of Cups in reverse, when it's this way around, it talks about grief and loss and regret and sometimes resentment and things like that as well, right? And it's kind of like a negative energy, sort of. It's a 5. And I heard the 5 energy referred to the other day as agents of chaos, and that's exactly what they are, right? But usually in a good way, right? Because it kind of grenades that foundation that you built in the 4, but it shows you what is worth keeping and what has to go, right? It's a change energy, right? Big change. But the important thing about this is when somebody is in this state, and you do see it for grief and loss as well, right? We can all kind of empathise with that place, when you've lost someone. Everything stops. Time stops. Nothing has any kind of meaning anymore. It's like all of the colours just drain out of the world, right? But it's an all-encompassing energy that you kind of get stuck in, right? When you're in this energy, you cannot see anything else. You cannot be objective enough to stand back, raise your eyes and see that actually the world is still around you and everything still carries on, and that you've got 2 cups left, right? can feel a bit like drowning sometimes, I think. This way round is you absolutely coming out of this energy, right? You're not focusing on the things that you don't have. You're not focusing on the things that you've lost. You're not envying anything that anybody else has got. You're looking up, you're stepping back, you're being objective, and you're seeing the world for what it is. You're seeing what you have and being grateful for it, right? A real sense of gratitude about it. But it's also kind of acceptance, right? Like, yes, this is lost, this is gone. It now no longer exists. What are the new things that are going to come in to fill the void that has been left by these 3 cups, right? I love this for you. I really, really do. Particularly since you've been like, I'm sure I called the last video or the one before or something like that, like life overhaul or something. Because it's you taking stock of everything, right? And where you might have been stuck in this energy before, you're coming out of it and you're seeing everything for what it is. And there's a building energy that I've got here. It's kind of swelling gently, right? It's like you're making all kinds of little revelations in your own head about things, and you're starting to see the world in a more clear fashion, right? Understanding what it is that you want, understanding what it is that you are, what you stand for, what makes you happy, what doesn't make you happy, and a decreasing tolerance for those things that leave you feeling like this, right? Time to let them go. Now, right in the centre, card of Sagittarius, we've got the Wheel of Fortune, and I love this because this is a teaching moment card for me. Yes, it appears when the wheel is starting to turn and your fortunes are going to improve, but that's not a fucking accident, right? This isn't just somebody dumping good fortune in your lap for shits and giggles. This is off the back of work that you have done on yourself. You know? It's like, as within, so without. Whatever work that you do on yourself at some point will be reflected back to you in your external environment, whether that's financially or in terms of the caliber of people that are around you, all of that kind of thing, right? Because it's about you learning, right? You learning something, a lesson that you needed to learn, right? It's soul growth, it's soul evolution. And as you clear all the crap, both out of yourself and out of your environment, so you make space for the good things to come in, right? I've seen that, making space for the good things over and over again, right? You're learning something really, really important at the moment, really fundamental. And Cancer, it'll be different for each and every one of you, but it really does feel very fundamental. And then we've got Death. Oh, wow. This is the card of Scorpio, and it talks about intense transformation. It talks about endings, yes, but with this card specifically, inherent within this ending is a beginning. It's a new thing because it's clearing the space. It's death. When death comes in, it takes all the old crap, all the stuff that's not serving you out of your life. And sometimes that can be quite uncomfortable, and sometimes we try and resist that, but ultimately those things go anyway. With this energy, embracing it is the best way to use it because you add fire to it, right? You can't really resist death. Like, nothing resists death. It's one of the, death and taxes. One of the only two certainties in life, right, is that it will end and it will cost you while you're living it, right? But rather than this energy coming in and you kind of, oh no, death is here. Like you see in the standard Rider-Waite, where there's this, people are like, oh my God, death on a white horse. You're bringing it. You're bringing the endings and the new beginnings everywhere. And it's almost like your new vision of how the world actually is. Now you can see it clearly. It's making you being very discerning about who you let into your life and who you let share your space, right? And it's going to transform not only you, but also, everything around you. Oh, I love this for you. I love it. It's coming towards... That's the Three of Wands that's tried to come out there. Didn't actually make it out of the deck, so I'm going to put it back in. But that talks about expansion. It's a very active card, right? It's a card of making changes and actioning plans in 3D. Right? It's coming towards Cancer, please. Coming towards Cancer the last 2 weeks of June. Whoa. Oh, wow. Goodness. So, it seems like you've got a major decision coming up, Cancer, and this is like a major life decision. This is not something that, you know, like what takeaway are you going to have tonight, or something like that. This is pretty huge. We've got a whole heap of cards that came out here, and I only wanted 3, but I've got 5. And they came out in this order: Ace of Cups, Page of Cups, and then at the end, we've got, came out like that, the Lovers in the centre, which is the card for me of a major life decision. And then, as always happens with this card, we've got an either or going on here, right? And this is important. So this, I feel, this ace, right, it can talk about new love, it can talk about a renewal of love, and that can be of someone or something, but it can also be of yourself. And I feel like this is what it is. Like, there's a real nurturing, forgiving, compassionate energy that you are now extending towards yourself that you weren't before. Because Cancer, you do have sometimes, you do err towards forgiving everybody else, being compassionate to everybody else, you know, kind of overextending and overstretching all the time toward other people, right? And then not actually doing the same for yourself. In fact, you kind of sit in this emotional cage of not feeling good enough for things, you know, and feeling like you need to be of service always to others, right? And that is commendable. That is a good thing, but not at the expense of yourself. And it feels like you are now seeing where it has been at the expense of yourself at times, right? And you've kind of fluffed yourself up, and you're like, no, okay, me first. And that's not selfish, right? It's not selfish. It's about looking after yourself so that you can help others in the best way that you possibly can, right? We've got the Page of Cups in the middle now. This is, it's a messenger, and it could be somebody bringing messages of love to you, but I don't think that it is. I mean, usually I see that as an apology, or maybe you are getting an apology, right? Maybe you've kind of fluffed yourself up a bit, you started valuing yourself a little bit more, and then as a result, other people have seen where they've taken you for granted in some ways, and they come to you and apologize. I mean, that is possible, but this just feels more like the way that you are now advancing out into the world, because I notice now that the shadow card at the bottom of the deck is the Knight of Cups, and then the High Priestess, which is the card of Pisces. But it's that internal space, it's intuition, it's knowing your own power. You know, you're a highly intuitive creature, and quite often you slap that down because in some way it conflicts with what somebody else has told you. And it's really important that you start trusting that, because you're progressing. You know, we said that the King of Cups was at the bottom of the deck. There was that emotional mastery there, but like, that's quite a static figure. That's how you relate to yourself. These ones are moving. These ones are going out into the world, and this is how you are moving out into the world, right? Still giving them the love. You see all the green there, but they've got the cup. It's all good, right? But it's almost like the ability that you have to help, the ability that you have to be of service is now exponentially increased on account of the fact that you value yourself first, right? The Nine of Wands tried to come out but didn't. That's about boundaries. You're instilling correct boundaries where you need them. You're looking after yourself and overhauling your fucking existence as a result. Like I love it. Now, at the end of the month, or maybe in the middle of the month, who knows, right? Time is fluid. Kind of, you know, this might have happened already. It might not happen until, you know, first week in July, right? It's not a static thing. The Lovers is the card of Gemini. Now, I do not... 98% of the time, I do not interpret this as a romantic relationship or a sexual relationship, because for me, this card talks about making a choice, but a conscious life choice, right? Not just, you know, what am I going to have for tea? Should I have a takeaway? Do I put on the brown boots or the black boots today? You know, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about something really actually quite fundamental. And it doesn't need to be something coming towards you, requiring you to make a decision about it. Sometimes it can be right in here, right? How do I want to consciously live my life, you know, moving forwards? What do I want from my life, right? And it's conscious because you're drawing upon all of those things that you've kind of ignored for such a long time about your internal space, right? This is where the High Priestess comes in. She's the keeper of all knowledge and wisdom, and it's all the internal stuff here, right? You have got to know yourself to such an extent and now begun to value yourself to such an extent that you actually, you've cracked open this blocked route between you and your intuition, and you are now feeling in tune with everything, right? Conscious co-creation, that's what this is, right? It's you choosing how you want to live your life. Now, the opportunity that you have here with this Ace of Pentacles is for a new start in some way, right? And it's a really solid new start. It's something of the material, right? The opportunity is coming towards you, and it could be that it's a new job, and it could be that it's a promotion or a new house or something like that. Something that benefits your material circumstances in some way, or it could just be a solid choice to live your life in a particular way, starting from fucking now, right fucking now. Because the alternative that you've got is the Five of Swords, and I really hate that card. It's more 5 energy, right? It's about always talking to people who are committed to misunderstanding you, because those people are the ones who benefit from, you know, pretending not to know that they're taking the piss when it comes to what you do for them, right? It's forever being stuck in a war of words sometimes with someone committed to misunderstanding you, right? Like, look at the colours on the card. They're so dark. Right? It's so dark and dingy, right? Because it's a dark, dingy energy. It's a shift, right? If there are people in your environment that you're having words with at the moment who or who are committed to misunderstanding you and how odd that it should have happened, you know, in the retrograde period, right? That's a light being shone on them to show you that it's time for you to move away from them. These are people that you don't need in your life anymore, right? Contrast that with the colours on these two cards here, right? They're bright, positive. This is dingy. So whether or not it is that you end up with somebody presenting you with a choice, like, it doesn't really matter. I feel like this is something that's going on within you. And it's time to be discerning, right? Because you've got the Wheel of Fortune and Death in your current energy helping you along, right? If you can roll with that and see where it is that you are being shown those people who are not supposed to be around anymore, or those things that you do that you shouldn't be doing anymore, like overextending yourself, committing too much to other people instead of yourself, right? Be reflective, like the energy asks you to be, right? Look at all of these things objectively and be like, right, it's okay to leave things behind. It's okay to outgrow things. It's okay to grow some fucking boundaries. And I tell you what, it's only the people who benefited you from you having none that will actually have any issue with you instating boundaries at any point. So let's get you some cards of advice. 3 cards of advice for Cancer, please. Oh, that's the first one, drifted out. Queen of Pentacles, yes. Cancer. Page of Pentacles, I love it. And the Eight of Cups, yeah, I mean, we've got the Empress at the bottom of the deck. That is fertile, abundant, creative energy, right? This is bringing something new into the world, but it doesn't have to be a something. It can be a someone, and that someone can be you, right? It's like followed immediately by Temperance, right? The new, improved, whole, healed version of yourself that you're bringing out into the world is a new thing, and it is something that is needed, right? Your cards of advice are the Queen of Pentacles, the Page of Pentacles, and the Eight of Cups. And it's everything that I've already just said, right? The Queen of Pentacles is about knowing the value of yourself, right? She's the self-care queen. Self first, everyone else after. And not in a selfish way, right? In a way that this actually improves your ability to help those people who really deserve your help, right? Who really deserve to have you putting your all into them, right? Because everybody else just fucking depletes you, and they need to just be gone by the wayside, right? Value yourself. A queen knows her worth and all that, right? Put your crown straight and move out into the world. Because I tell you what, everybody's going to start reacting to you differently. The next card that you've got is the Page of Pentacles, and that is the card of a new start. I mean, these two both scream new start to me. A really solid new start, a different way of doing things to the way that you've done them before. In such a way as it changes your reality around you, right? Because you are consciously co-creating it. You know what's important, right? And it's your pentacle. Now, whether that pentacle is your time, your care, your effort, your money, whatever, it's your resources. It could even just be you. It could be your self-worth, your self-value, right? This is how you move forward here on out. And then we've got the Eight of Cups, and this is very clearly saying do not be afraid to leave those things behind, you know, that don't serve you in any way, right? Where there is no reciprocity, it's time to go, it's time to leave it, right? It doesn't require your input anymore, right? And it's not disloyal in any way. Arguably the way that you were before when you were overextending was being disloyal to yourself. You've got to be your own best friend, and I kind of get the feeling that you are doing that now finally, Cancer, right? You're really starting to understand the value. You're allowed to be here and take up space, right, all by yourself. You don't have to apologize for that, and you don't have to justify that. None of it, right? You deserve to be here, you deserve to take up space, and you deserve to value yourself more than you do, and I'm so pleased to see you actually doing it. So I'm going to leave it there, Cancer. There was an extended to the main monthly read, and this does really fit in very well with what I was seeing there. So, I mean, I'll link it below, and if you haven't seen the main monthly read, I'll put that at the end of the video as well. It's probably already up on the screen here. Give it a watch, and yeah. I'm so excited for you, Cancer. It's awesome. Right, you take care. I'll see you soon.